Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Maricopa Open presented by Infinite Disc. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Pete Ulibarri, as we are here for the second and final round of this incredible B-tier event. We're out at Maricopa Meadows as opposed to yesterday's round at Copper Sky. And Pete, first of all, thanks for doing the drone previews that we're going to look at. Thanks for joining us, and I'm ready for some sweet action here.
Thank you for having me, Terry. I'm excited to be here.
Hole one coming in at 341 feet. Pretty straightforward. Big hyzer, whether you're righty or lefty, should work. And got Nick Newton, who we saw in the coverage last year, Pete.
Yeah, Nick is such a solid player, man. When I think of him, I just think of consistency. He's not super flashy. He just gets the job done, and it's really nice to watch. So I'm excited to see how he performs today.
Yeah, he's picked up a new sponsor in Prodigy Discs, and this is not even his first event with it. I think this is his second or third already here in this year, as he comes up a little short.
Yeah, he's got that new sponsor. He's wearing the star on his back, and he's been doing well.
Adam Hammis, of course, someone who you know quite well, not only a teammate, but also someone who's been putting plenty of time in on Arizona courses.
Yeah, we run into him quite a bit here. It's nice having him around. And Henry Manahan, I've really enjoyed this guy's company, and he's really starting to slay the disc on the local scene and taking it out further too. So
great to see, and when I think of coming to play or watch Arizona disc golf, Henry's become a fixture for me as well. And now, how well do you know?
Right,
Michael Lassuy.
Michael Lassuy, man. Mike Lassuy, unfortunately for the rest of the world, they don't really get to see him very often, but he's been a pain in every good player's keister for a very long time in Arizona. Super dominant in the mountains, and he gets down to the valley now and then. It's really exciting to get to watch him play today.
Yeah, I am excited to watch him for the first time. He hails from Flagstaff area, and Adam, who's obviously so deadly with his putter. We saw him as he closed out Shelly Sharp just a few weeks ago. He's just short there. Nick uphill, maybe just outside the circle.
Good. You know, when you drive on this hole, this slight downhill slope can get quite slippery. If it gets a little humid or a little wet, if you don't land on the top, it runs away pretty quick, even though it's a subtle hill. So it's good to see him capitalize on that putt.
Henry inside the circle, probably about 25 feet.
Ooh.
And you hear the players kind of a little bit of chatter about the baskets. We've seen the new veteran baskets come in and ultimately replace what used to be Mach 2s, which could be a little infuriating from time to time.
The Mach spits.
Though the Mach 2's just not real chain heavy, so to speak, or chain abundant.
Mike Lassuy with a good bird.
Great start for him, as Adam will remain at that 9 under. And a quick story about Adam and the score. You actually saw him close out with what we thought was an 11 under during round one. That's what I had marked down. Unfortunately, it looked like they had incorrectly put him down for a par on hole 8 during round one on the online scoring. And so he submitted a 10, even though he shot an 11. So you get the correct score plus 2 penalty strokes. So that's why he showed up to the final round 2 strokes off of what he really shot yesterday. So that's why he's at 9 as opposed to 11. And that's a mouthful, but it all makes sense if you listen to it twice.
Yeah. Fortunately, you got to always make sure you check your scores. This is a good throw here by Nick. That short basket, they tied up. In the drone footage, it wasn't tied up, but we're playing to the long basket on this hole today, and it's no longer hanging in the tree.
Yeah, and that's really been kind of a staple of this course. Do you know what went into that conversation?
The only thing I understand is I think that branch broke.
Oh, okay.
Or it got cut. One of the two.
Sounds like a disgruntled disc golfer. Maybe not. They're like, damn it, we're gonna hang this basket anyway, just a different method.
Those desert storms.
Adam hanging it out wide left. And there is OB back there. He comes up short of it.
Okay.
But that's something, as a powerful thrower like him actually does have to worry about.
Yeah, some of us other noodle armors, we just don't really have to worry about 500 coming into play very often. Do you know what disc Henry's throwing right here?
I don't. I believe Henry does have a mixed bag, though, is something I did want to point out. I know I see him throw, I think I've seen him throw a little bit of Innova. I think I've seen him throw a little bit of Prodigy and or Discraft. I know he throws an Ion, putter occasionally for approach shots. So team mixed bag as of right now.
Yeah. So I think he just laid up there. Don't want no business with what's behind the basket.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the OB behind the basket and then just kind of that low-hanging branch that can still somewhat come into play. And I know Nick was a little frustrated and perplexed with his exact positioning due to both of those reasons.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't love his effort. As he says, oh, nice. Here's Adam. This is what, about 45 feet?
I guess that, yeah.
Beautiful, calm afternoon. And Adam, really just a lack of power. He has to be thinking about that OB that can come into play about 10 feet, maybe behind the basket that Mike's looking at.
Yeah. Mike, I think he's a little low there, but not a terrible miss. You don't want to go off the top of that basket. That'll take you OB so quick that
yeah,
the heart will flutter in ways you really don't want it to.
So nothing too crazy or exciting here. Looks like pushing that basket, a mere 40 feet a different direction. Ultimately, will land everybody with a par frame. What are they trying to do here on hole 3?
Well, we're going to fly down the fairway here in about 250 feet. There's a double mando. So on the right, the light pole on the right, and then the light pole on the left. And we're going to have to bend the disc around here to the right. Most people are going to just try and throw a slight ante shot, or for most of our guys on this card, they're all going to throw a forehand. I think Nick is more of a backhand dominant guy. He'll throw forehands here and there, but he's got such control with this shot most of the time that looks like he's going to lean on it.
And you nailed it. Yeah, just beautiful turnover shot that faded the entire way. Nick will go to a forehand from time to time, but it is not. I think he'll do everything he can to not lean on it.
Yeah. Now Mikey, on the other hand, he throws a predator just about better than anybody on the planet most of the time. And as good a putter as he is, he can put it anywhere. And if he gets that putter rolling, man, he becomes he can string them together in long rows.
I believe that's a Raptor. If I'm thinking of to previous rounds, that might be a Raptor there by Adam Hammis. A little bit low and short, and you're not getting ground play. I mean, it's just not happening like it did at Copper Sky. Is that right? With this beautiful grass.
Correct. Harkening back to what has now made me famous, fescue.
The fescue conversation.
I still run into people. How's that fescue? Well, it's nice and thick and grippy, and you're not going to get a skip today.
Adam from about pin high, but at least 55 feet away. He's had a slow start thus far. Oh, bang,
Wow.
bang. Yeah.
Wow. I was going to say, he left that definitely wide for as good a forehand thrower as he is, but he also, on a short hole like this, has to hold his power back by about 90%.
He could have grabbed a water bottle on his way to running to the basket. Holy cow.
Oh, let's go, Mikey.
Yeah. And what a way to follow up the huge putt by Adam. You see this outside the circle putt by Michael. That's got to feel good. He's now
Absolutely.
2 down through the first 3 holes.
Henry gets it.
Yep, making some easy work. And then, like we said, look at that backhand turnover by Nick, just putting it right next to the pin.
Go.
And they are making it look easy. Love to see them pick it up. That came in as about the 7th most difficult hole on the course. Or 13th, I'm sorry, if I do some math backwards.
Not a
Came in
difficult
pretty
hole.
easy. Yeah. Hole
Here we
4,
go.
though.
You want to take it?
No, go ahead.
Straight shot. We're going 294 feet. Sidewalk on the right is OB. There's a Mando that makes sure you don't throw a hyzer. Don't throw too far, and you should be able to come up and tap out. This should be pretty easy for all of our players here.
Yeah, the last few years we've also seen this basket elevated, and that is not the case here in the 2021 version, but it is a very straightforward shot. Just don't throw it long or turn it over.
There wasn't much wind to start the day with, so not much like extra worry with this shot.
Adam says he likes it, and I think Michael does as well. Great shot.
He's going to make good on that. I think this is that Raptor again. He had one of the local guys draw a couple geese on him. So he's got a couple Canadian geese on opposite sides of the logo.
Okay.
Anybody who knows Adam knows he makes an excellent Canadian goose call with his voice.
He also later in the round, I don't think I have it on coverage, but later in the round he was talking about getting some minis made up and having ducks on them and fish and everything else. He's truly from northern Wisconsin as a true outdoorsman. Oh, and just a bit high for Nick. Now, also, I'll preface this a little. Anthony Barella started the round tied with Michael Lassuy, along with a handful of other people, and we were able to get an extra camera on that chase card. And so right after the conclusion here of hole 4, we're going to be able to go and do my first ever chase card check-in and watch actually how Anthony Barella's attacked a few of these first few holes. And yes, I'll just spoil it right now. There's a very real battle that's going to unfold here today. It's pretty incredible.
It was awesome out there today. It was good to see these guys tap in. Unfortunately, Nick wasn't able to capitalize on this one, but there's a lot of golf left.
Yeah, Nick and Adam at that 11 under are tied for the lead, and you got Michael and Henry at 10 under. So starting his round off, I said 7 under. Here's Anthony Barella on hole 1. And almost sticks it. There was a lot of conversation about the $1,600 ace pool, and someone had said Anthony was like, I'm running everything. Like, all right, let's see what happens. Here he is on hole 2.
That weapon he's developed with that forehand is been something to watch over the years.
It's incredible, and he gets that one out and around. He's to the right of the
Let's
pin.
go, AB.
So AB starts out 2 for 2. You see the running ticker there, him against the lead card. And then here he is. He pars hole 3. He comes over here to hole 4. Puts himself right there where he belongs. And
he's keeping pace.
Yeah, he's 3 down through the first 4 holes. And he sits at 10 under, so he's right there in the thick of things. And we head back to the action on 5. What a beautiful shot you got here.
Yeah, beautiful. Off the tee, you've got a pine tree kind of keeping you wide, and you can't go directly at it. You got to throw a big hyzer. All of these trees over the last few years have gotten taller. So if you've learned how to throw further, it hasn't mattered much over time because you still got to get to this green. So I expect to see some of these guys possibly be able to get near the green or on the green, but it is a big pull today to get there.
Yeah, this is one of the few holes I really like getting the catch cam just to be able to tell you how close you are. Because when you're on the tee, to Mike Lassuy, he doesn't know if he's 5 feet away or the 20 feet away. It all kind of looks the same.
One thing, I've given Mikey, everybody's given Mikey a hard time over the years. He's a little shorter than these other guys, and his ability to get under that branch and get that disc up high and out there was much easier than what Adam had to deal with. But what a great shot by both of them.
One thing I've noticed about Mike in these first few holes, I'm looking at this guy thinking he looks like he's about to throw a disc 200 feet, and next thing you know, it's 400. Like it's so effortless.
Incredible.
Effortless.
Yeah.
A little bit short there for Henry. Would you consider this a little bit of a bonus? It feels like it's you don't see a lot of twos on this hole.
I think it is a bonus. Like I said, that pine tree really pushes you, and this big guardian tree out here, you either got to decide if you're going to go quick and under it or take it high and try and stall it over the top. So it is a bonus, I think. If we look at how many people actually got it, it's going to be very few, I think, for the whole tournament.
Yeah, this hole does average 3.02 out of a 65-person field, so just barely over par, and right in the middle of the difficulty. So certainly not one you're counting on getting.
Yeah. Anything over where Nick is putting from right now, if you get to that area, you're kind of happy because, well, I mean, at least the majority of the field, if you get there, you at least have a chance at it.
Just barely draws a little metal. And we just mentioned a few moments ago that there was a lack of wind, and I totally agreed with you. And then it's starting to slowly pick up. You see a few of the branches barely moving. You see those red flags in the background barely moving. And Adam says, yeah, I don't care about your wind. I've got this birdie putt all day.
Sometimes this kid, it seems like it doesn't matter what the air is doing around it. It flies through a vortex into the basket.
Mike with the CTP.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Very good.
That was a catch.
Got her in. He's happy that we have the new baskets.
Yes, I was just going to say, I love me some DGA products, but Mach 2 was not going to pull that one in.
No. Henry taps in.
Maricopa, for those that may not know, this is a good 30, maybe 40 minutes from Vista, where they played a few weeks ago. Is my geography right there?
You're absolutely right.
And so south, and not necessarily an area that a lot of casuals come down to play. I mean, if you're in the area, you're playing it, but do you see a lot of people come down from the Mesa area to come down and play here casually?
Not typically. Every now and then somebody will make a weekend trip. This hole, you're just going to want to throw a hyzer out over the right, or you can go straight up the gut underneath the trees on the left over here. But these guys all have the power just to spike it on the pin or near the green. So let's see what they do.
That is plenty high and also pushing to that left side. He's going to be in bounds, and the woman walking up the road, we soon find out, is actually Michael's sister.
Awesome.
See if Adam goes a little bit wider. And no, looks like he too, understandably, a little bit scared of the water.
Yeah, the water comes into play quick if you stall the disc at all. I think if Henry continues to play a lot of bigger events or gets out to a couple, people are going to fall in love with this kid. He's really quite a jolly character. Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, hits the edge of that rock and then kicks back. OB. There'll be a brief discussion as to where he's taking it, presumably from up there. And there was someone who was watching that was a little bit closer that had a good eye on it as Nick spikes that one down and is closest to the pin with that shot.
Hey, Tombstone, Arizona right there. keeping it in the southwest. We say he's looking down probably about 50 feet.
Yeah, at least. And, he's got a good 18 feet before it gets to the water, but I don't care who you are. That has to be in the back of your mind somewhat.
Yeah.
And you see, little tentative.
Yeah, he was being easy on that one.
Now, being the fescue expert, we can also kind of deduce, like, when you look at this green, it's just a little bit drier and maybe a little bit harder. So a disc like Nick's there, if you hit something and it does roll, like, it can actually gain a little steam and get away from you.
Yeah, it's just on a slight little hill. Everything kind of slopes to the water, and like you said, it's dried out some. So that anything that bumps, if you hit high, if you clip that, it's going to take off. It's not going to catch like the previous 3 holes. And so it makes you a lot more tentative. You see each one of these guys were pretty tentative with their putt.
Yeah, and they're going to move over. I think there's a brief conversation as to where he hit, and then someone who was closer to the basket kind of chimed in, an unofficial spotter, we'll say, had chimed in with where they saw it hit. And now the group will come to the conclusion of where they're going to give him a lie. Of course, you have the 1-stroke OB penalty. It's just a matter of assessing exactly where they're going to give him a lie. And now you hear a guy whistle and get their attention, and he kind of directs them as to what he saw from a closer vantage point.
I was going to wonder if he's going to have to just putt from on top of the rock.
Well, I think Henry planted that guy out there to give him a better spot. I'm just kidding.
I don't think he's that sneaky. Great putt.
Heck yeah, it saves the par.
Let's go, Henry.
Yeah, you know, and you may think, well, whoopee, he saves a par, but he's not losing any strokes to this lead card. I mean, none of them were able to capitalize. This is a hole you'd like to get, but heck, he's no harm, no foul.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, through the first 5 holes, if you're looking at the scorecard, Austin Hannum has gone 5 for 5 to start. He had a little bit of a slow start at the other course, but here today, he's 5 for 5 through these first 5 holes. And now we take a look at hole 7. It plays kind of similar, or no?
Pretty much. Just throw your stock hyzer out. It's 344 feet. Don't push the right side too much because it's pretty close to the water, and try not to hit them rocks over there because they'll kick you in funny ways. So just, if you're scared, bail left. There's a lot of room, and don't leave it low off the tee to hit those trees. That's about it.
It's interesting that this hole is actually 20 feet shorter than the previous one. It's closer to the water, but it's easier to attack. Maybe?
Correct. Yeah, for sure it's a lot easier to attack, I think, because you're slightly elevated. Those trees are tall, but you don't want, like, they're really not as much in your hyzer line. It's only if you leave it earlier, throw it low, that you're in trouble. That looked really good.
Yeah, we were, 10, 12 feet from the pin at most. Great shot there by Adam.
It can be challenging a little bit on this tee because you're teeing right next to the road, and every now and then you'll get ready to throw in them like that right there. Motorcycle goes by, and either you're thinking Harley or you're thinking birdie, but it's hard to think of both at the same time.
Kind of bailing out left. Yeah, and also, it's a great point. I actually did turn down the audio on a few of these nearby road shots because vehicles come ripping through there, and it can be quite distracting, even as a viewer.
They're all playing this relatively safe, relatively by a lot. These are the challenging holes, and these are the holes that you can lose a lot of strokes on if you make a mistake. So, boy, I'm glad that set down.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking about on the previous hole. This grass is just a little more dry, and I think the likelihood of getting up and rolling, if it hits just wrong, could easily put you in the water.
Yeah. Ooh, just out of it, just out to the side.
Yeah,
But yeah,
really good
these are
bid.
these are the holes that, like, if you make a mistake, the mistakes compound very fast. There's other holes that it's a little less, and so you can get aggressive in a few other places on the course. But hey, swinging it in.
Yeah, this comes in as the 6th most difficult, averaging about a third of a stroke over par, and some really big numbers can get racked up out here on any of these few water holes. Like you said, things can compound quite quickly.
Yeah, if you miss, you miss right. I mean, you're basically out of bounds the whole way, and so you got to make sure to get it in. And if you're not unsure with what the wind is doing, then you do what they did. You pitch it to the right and maybe make a putt, maybe get a good stick, or um, you're walking away scratch and still competing for the tournament.
And now we take a look at one of the most diabolical holes that we find on the course, where trouble it looms everywhere. Hole 8. What in the world are they trying to accomplish here?
So it's pretty much a straight shot with a mid up the gut, or a putter if depending on the wind. But you can throw a hyzer, and the hyzer can come in and catch here. Behind there's OB, there's like OB planters. Down the hill there's OB planters and sidewalk, and so you really need to stick it.
Yeah, like kind of like that. I mean,
Kind of like that.
how do you get a disc to land on top of a hill, roll about 6 feet, and then just stop perfectly? I don't. That's
Adam threw it really high, and he caught the one soft spot in the fescue.
well,
Stay-
here Henry
Stay with
finds it on
Henry.
the right side. Yeah. For many years, my host, I've watched Javier Kowalski throw straight up the middle with a rock, just parking this hole, and we see these guys all with the hyzer. Oh, okay. Use a tree branch as a braking mechanism. I like it.
Exactly. It's like Adam could learn that from Mikey. Mikey comes from the Pines, so the Pines right up there. It's like home to him.
Oh, and that just
Oh,
sits.
Well, they're making this hole look a lot easier than it really is. I'll bet if we looked at the scores, this one caused a lot of carnage.
Yeah, 4th most difficult hole on the course, averaging 3.48, and not friendly at all. There were doubles, triples. This hole is punishing.
I've taken my share of negative, like bad numbers on this one, so and it happens very quick. If you throw off the tee and you catch that pine on the right, even if you're throwing straight or high as you leave it inside, or then you're immediately OB next to the water and in a different place you probably didn't practice. So just get it safe. Or throw it into that planter box or behind. That's also a wise decision.
Sure. Well, as the group comments, I don't know how often you're ever going to see a star frame.
Precisely.
Henry calls it with grace and beauty. He calls the star frame as he retrieves his disc.
Yeah.
All right, now we're back with another Anthony chase card check-in on this very hole. Okay. Yeah, again.
That's the shot.
Yeah, he sticks it. So we just watched through here, and now we're going to head right back tonight. I think we're going to check in with Anthony again in another couple of holes, but I wanted to show off how impressive his shot was.
Yeah, 460 feet down this fairway. You're just going to try and throw something straight up the middle. The power hyzer is going to want to land on the left here. If you get aggressive, you can get up here. Playground on the right's OB. Planter boxes on the right, so don't pull it too much. But a lot of these guys have the power. They can get into play. It's been nice to see this course over the years because all these trees when we first started playing out here, oof,
just leaks.
Yeah. All these trees have been growing. You know, when we first came out and started playing this course, these trees we could just throw over the top of them. And now they're getting bigger and blocking more area.
Certainly coming into play a lot more, as you're just saying. And we'll see if Henry makes a little bit of adjustment And his is going to
Got it.
sit down. Yeah. A difficult one to get yourself in position for birdie. And maybe the scores are showing it here. Third most difficult hole on the course statistically, playing at 3.57.
Yeah, at 460 feet, it's a pull, and you got to throw a good shot to be aggressive. That is a very good shot, and you still have to putt through the handrail there, and there's OB 5 feet behind the basket, and 5 feet short of it right there in that drainage. So you have to have great position play to get yourself a look at it.
And really that very common bailout or just good placement shot is up and to the left. That's not a bad spot to be. Nick's got a little navigating to do around that rail, but this isn't too bad of a spot to be.
No. Yeah, exactly what he's doing. He wasn't even getting aggressive with it. Just put it up next to the pin. This is one that very quickly you come up with a big number. You go OB left over here, then you get aggressive. If you're a little bit off, then you can easily go into the planter box or take a kick and roll into that little drainage spot, and all of a sudden you're looking at 5.
Yeah, I had originally busted out my phone because I thought I was also going to see Henry here try and go through the Y. He was eyeing it up, and it was very tempting to him, but he opted for the safer
Wisdom
route.
prevailed, Henry.
Yes, that a boy. So Adam is out of bounds and has this left. He's trying to save a par that we saw Henry do from OB a few holes ago.
And if you're going to miss, you better miss pin high so that OB doesn't come into play on your putt, and that opened it up for him to be super aggressive there. Great putt.
Yeah, as he said, he's got to do the work for it, and that's a great way to remain bogey-free here during the round. Nice putt by Adam. He remains at 14 under.
Let's see what Mikey does here. Just a little low.
Yeah, and I'll admit, my camera angle, I didn't know how quick he was going to throw, and I would have loved to be right next to him, and my camera angle did not do that, that putt justice, putting through the rails.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. But here we are, four pars. Adam having to work maybe a little bit harder than the rest, but 4 pars, and they're actually helping lower the statistics there, as there were just 2 birdies on the day by Jonathan and Cade. So here's hole number 10.
We have a Mando left of this pine tree on the right, and then you just want to bend the disc straight up here. You're going to curve it up here to the basket. That little drainage right there is OB, that concrete. So you don't want to be super aggressive with where you land, because that comes into play really quick with putts, and if you get a little too crispy with your drive.
Doing a little work there with that Raptor. It's going to have about 20, 25 feet at most. That'll work for Henry. Yep. Left side. One thing is we just saw Michael again take a deep breath. Clearly part of his routine, clearly something that, works well for him. But you see him with a really concentrated effort of exhaling and going through his motions and his routine. And it's something that I noticed very early on that's something that he likes to do.
Yeah.
Take your time.
He does take his time, and he does that a little bit more when he's when he knows he's in contention, and he's got to get himself calmed down. And so it's awesome to see him doing that and like sticking with it. I know when I see him doing that and I've been playing against him, I get a little nervous.
He means business.
Oh man.
Here's Newton.
Dig. Oh boy. Sit.
Asking for it to sit and to dig because he didn't want that to leak out over to the OB. That was, I mean, you have to call it what it is. That was just an absolute misfire there by Nick. Unexpected, but definitely a misfire.
Mikey's looking right down the gut of the basket and the OB ditch.
He gave it a chance, knowing if that's, 6 inches to the right, he probably sneaks up into that ditch and goes OB. What a good run. Henry with, the obviously the line just a little low.
Yeah, he's a little frustrated. He's had a few of those that haven't quite connected like he wanted.
There it is.
putt.
Little extra work, but nonetheless, he'll walk away with a 3. He's got a pair of other 3s that are lined up, and now Adam trying to keep the ball rolling here. He's already pulled out ahead and sits with the 2-stroke advantage over Nick.
Yeah, looks automatic.
He does make it look easy, that's for sure.
I give him the advantage simply because he's tall and lanky, and his arm is a foot longer than the average guy. So it's like the putts that we think are 30-footers or 29-footers for him. And once you get into the 20s, it makes it easier.
Yeah, no kidding. This whole short and stocky thing hasn't been working for me all my life, that's for sure. All right, hole 11 feels like a must get. We got OB and plenty of danger.
Absolutely. Island green, OB, easy to get behind into the planter. Just get it inbounds and make a putt. Every one of these guys should be able to get this shot. It's just a stock shot. Stock forehand, stock backhand. You can throw a straight putter. Just be safe.
And he's asking for it to sit down.
Nice.
And gets a little bank off the backside, and that's nearly perfect. Like, he's not throwing at OB for his putt, and he's obviously close and inbound, so that's a really good shot.
1600.
They're calling for the 1600, and then he admits, not in the ace fun.
Not in the ace spot.
Let's see if Mike can put himself
Very nice.
right there on the
Yeah.
dance floor.
Yep. Here's his forehand.
That's gotta go. Wow. Go.
Yeah, he's asking for it to push. We kind of saw that exact same disc with a forehand. We saw him saw it off on the previous hole.
Yeah.
So it's like he needs to have a little more, either push or just a little more confidence in ripping on that thing, because it's gonna do the work for him.
Yeah. Well, that's doing the work that covered for that a little bit right.
Nick's excited because last year, as the whole card remembers, it's 3 out of the same 4 guys were all reminiscing about a terrible spit he had on this hole last year. And so they all recalled it immediately when that one fell in, which is says a lot to the camaraderie out here in this group.
Yeah.
So
It's
Michael
a pretty easy hole.
Yeah, you got to get this one. It's the 3rd easiest on the course. And we hear a little bit of that pumping that I had to turn way down, and I think I roll over and show you guys, just brushing off the old dune buggy.
Boom, boom.
And I think we do move on to 12. I think we're going to check in with Anthony at the end of this entire segment. Well, hole 12, 358 feet. What are they trying to do here? Anything special?
Just don't hit the trees on the right and don't go over the sidewalk. So a pretty good hyzer will just come in and land a little, like 20 feet short. You can try and swing a hyzer around those trees and probably leave yourself just in the circle. So I'm just curious to see which way these guys attack it. Looks like Adam's going straight, like flat to hyzer, feed into the basket, and he's gone a little bit past that, looks like.
And again, a lack of wind, is taking a lot of the OB out of play, or those. I mean, obviously the OB's there, but I'm just saying we've been here in very windy conditions where just keeping some of these shots in bounds is almost, a feat in itself. And today, the winds are, 5 miles an hour every once in a while at most.
Exactly. So your disc you're really not having to worry about it dancing around on you unexpectedly. So it's just a matter of you doing what you have to do to execute the shots.
Yeah, just a little, hopping
Just a stock little
hopping
hyzer.
a jump. Yeah, no big deal.
It's a game.
Yeah, Adam
Great
calling
shot.
it gorgeous. Yep.
That's how you draw it up.
And again, a little deceptive though. I mean, when we saw that, I think you and I both thought he was parked, and you see,
Yeah.
he's got 30 feet yet.
Ooh.
A heartbreak.
Yeah. I think the deception comes from those couple trees on the right. They look like they bring that basket towards you a little bit, and it actually puts it a little further away. That's a good putt.
Yeah, a little bit uphill, and you were right. Adam was just a few feet deep.
Good putt. Call out to your camel work. I like the framing of the shot.
Thank you. I decided to go a little lower, and kind of it almost exaggerates the hillside. Now, of course, there's a hill there, but I think it exaggerates it, and I think it really makes things pop a little bit more. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And I thank you for that. Thank you to all the hole sponsors you guys have been seeing on the bottom of every hole. Those are our video sponsors that I believe worked with Sam and Chuck to make sure that we had the coverage. Of course, my host in Hav and Amy Joe and Chris Cobb and everyone else that was out there. And then you and Mike Jewell, who were battling for the Masters win. You guys didn't know it, but you both tag team on the drone coverage as well, as you provided all the Maricopa Meadows drone shots, and Mike gave me all the Copper Sky ones, so I appreciate that.
Of course. It was a pleasure.
So 13, really brings this sidewalk into play a little bit if you're going with the forehand. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Now, I got to be the first to admit, I'm surprised by that play.
That's a curious one to me.
Yeah. Now, look at, Henry here. I think that's...
I mean, really, if you're going to throw it and you're going to make the mistake, you want to make the mistake that Henry made. It's such a straight shot. I mean, there's room to the right. Just don't, yank it. I suppose the forehand plays to inbounds, but you have to get it there.
Yeah, it also brings the OB more into play, I feel like, as opposed to just throwing it low and straight. Now, I think Henry was throwing a meteor, and I think that was actually a buzz by Michael, and you see they're about 4 feet apart.
Yeah. They both threw it about 330 feet, I think. The whole play is about 350.
Now, Nick needs that to flip. And that just barely leaks out of bounds as well.
It's hard to tell from the tee. Sorry about that. It's hard to tell from the tee that sidewalk curves in right there. It's not there. There we go. It curves in, so it comes in close to that basket and makes it, sneak up a lot quicker than you'd think.
I totally agree, and I was only going to say that you don't see that sidewalk often come into play, on our lead card coverage. It just usually people are down and to the right. They're usually more scared of the sidewalk, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Oh, absolutely.
So Adam is looking at what would be his first bogey here of the round after going OB. Nick's trying to save par, and
That would have been funny.
he chuckles about it as he caught a branch there. He thought it was online though.
Down here where I think is where most people expect. I suppose if you miss this shot high, you could go OB, but I'd expect to miss it, high and go OB next to the sidewalk, real close to the basket. I don't know. I'm not going to critique their play too much because I mean they're lead card and I'm not.
Well, you're lead card in your division, and look at that.
Let's go, Mikey.
Wow, and that's a way to take the box and to make a move. seeing your two, leaders that started the day, both Adam and Nick, go OB, and Mike takes the birdie to pick up 2 strokes.
Yeah.
And things continue to heat up. What a great battle we've got going on. I think we've got just one more hole, of course, thanks to Infinite Discs, but we got one more hole in this segment, and that's hole 14, 375 feet. Another hyzer?
Just another hyzer. Lots of room for the hyzer out on the right. This tree here that you're seeing in the middle is kind of a blocker, but for the most part, if somebody hits that, they swung the hyzer too wide. Just a stock hyzer, slide it up to the basket. If you leave it early, there's a little exercise pit that can go, that can get you penalized, but I don't expect to see these guys go there because it's just too stock of a shot.
Yeah. And you can kind of trying to zoom in on the basket. This is one that's actually kind of obstructed when I'm standing. There's no good place to be on this tee to also get a good look at that basket. And yes, I do everything I can to avoid that exercise pit. And I mean, that's not just this round. That's anytime.
In life.
Yeah. Nobody needs that. Okay, maybe I do, but out wide out in the open, like you said.
Yeah, they're putting up the hill from there. It's in position.
And as you just mentioned, yes, you and the other Jerome provider and Mike Jewell of Pin Deep Disc Golf, you guys had both shot 4 under at Copper Sky in the opening round. And as of right now, as this is being played out, you guys are also on this course battling for the win. We'll have to give the results later, but you guys are battling it out in the MP40 division. So
yeah,
very nice.
Good shot there also. They're all low on the hill. It's easier to putt, I feel like, uphill than to be quite short and worry about catching the side and whatnot. But let's see what Mikey can do with this. First one he's going to actually have kind of in towards the headwind. And it held it up just a little bit.
Yeah, really good run, though. And this, again,
excellent.
we're back to the grass being just a tad thicker. So, yes, of course, you're on a hillside and it always could roll, but it's a little bit thicker here. Oh. Not often. I mean, people putting uphill, it seems like the easy place to miss is low. You just didn't, put enough on it. But 2 for 2 on a little bit high. This is Newton right at pin high. There it is.
He made the correction. He's a little bit to crosswind, so left to right crosswind there. When the air is moving today, it was moving towards the south. And so Mikey and Henry were both putting into a headwind. So it kind of makes sense that if they missed where it lifted on them.
Yep. Adam trying to negate the bogey he picked up on the previous hole. Obviously, a very tight battle here. Michael's momentarily won from Adam, but Adam says, I'll recover. Yeah. I'll recover and come back and take another birdie. We are going to then quickly, I think, check in with Anthony, who's making a charge from the chase card. Things are very close. And that's what I'd love to know in the comments, guys. Do you like the idea of the chase card check-in since we do have the footage, or would you have rather seen that in a separate round, or maybe you need to hold until everything wraps up? I'm not sure, but I'd love to know in the comments what you think of that. Let's go take a look at Anthony Barella's action from the chase card check-in. And now here we are, Barella back on hole number 10.
Yeah.
Nice little easy park job, picking up another birdie. Now, the leader score you see off to the right, that is in fact what the leader is at the completion of this hole. And Anthony is sitting a few strokes back. He hangs that one wide right.
He's putting away from OB. Cashes it in.
And like that, here he sits just 2 strokes behind, so he's right in the thick of things. We move over, I believe this is now hole 13, the one where we just saw the OB strokes.
Maybe he takes the straighter shot at it.
Yeah, and you feel like every time you see Adam throw a forehand, you almost see Anthony throw a forehand. I mean, they play very similar games, but different approach on this one.
They weren't standing next to each other to emulate.
And now here's our last hole of the break, and there it is. AB put himself right there, and just like this, AB is also on the chase card, sitting just 2 behind through the same amount of holes. And guys, we're going to call it right now. Pete, again, thank you so much. As we take a quick look at, here are the live scores at this point. And you see, like, the hot round, Jeremy Herr is 9 under through the first 15. Austin Hannum is continued to push up that lead card, but Adam's got the 2-stroke advantage over Mike Lassuy and Anthony Barella.
These are
Henry?
all really good scores.
Incredible. Man. Again, looking forward to seeing you guys for the final conclusion here of the 2021 Maricopa Open presented by Infinite Discs. We'll see you then, Pete.
See ya.